record. Hit record. So, by the way, we have a new intro for today for a special occasion.
Okay.
Ladies, Mariah Carey may have Christmas, but Fetty Wap has Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is. If that does not get your panties wet and want to think about yams, I don't like yams, but right now I just text Lexi, yo, you better make them sweet yams tonight for Thanksgiving. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the What's Your Opinions podcast. It is your favorite two Mexican brown boys of the season. It's Alex and Eli. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. We didn't have an episode lined up because, well, my dad thought technology was going to be on his side. So we lost the episode. I think I was able to scrap the draft a little bit, but other than that, it's gone in the wind. Thank goodness, too. It's kind of a blessing in disguise. That was a bad episode.
It was a really bad episode. A lot of technical difficulties that we were not prepared for that day.
No, dude, I finished editing the entire episode, right?
You probably got like 25 minutes of it altogether.
No, actually, because we recorded, it was an hour 25, 39 minutes.
That's so bad.
Oh, dude, it was just like
that is so bad.
We went from like two topics, and then all of a sudden, just like NFL music, and I was like, can't do this. So blessing in disguise, but special occasion. As of today, I will be editing all of this tomorrow night, and this will be a special Thanksgiving episode. Nothing about thanks or anything like that. Are you thankful for anything?
Not really. I only show up for Thanksgiving just for the food.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of Thanksgiving, real quick before we get into the actual topics, favorite Thanksgiving food?
Ham.
I can go. My mom's spiral ham's fire. Yeah, spiral ham. I like turkey. Turkey puts me to sleep.
Turkey is good, but it's also very easy to fuck up.
Oh, dude, 1,000%.
You could either get turkey really good, or you could fuck turkey up really bad. There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground. You either get turkey like it's super juicy and rich, or you get like turkey that's drier.
Or it's dry. It's sandpaper.
It's like a Popeye's biscuit. Like
there's no in between.
There's no in between. Sides though.
Mashed potatoes and mac and cheese.
Dude, virtual high five.
Virtual high five, right boy. There we go.
I'll say this. This is out to my future wife, girlfriend, whoever's dumb enough to date me. Oh, by the way, I got a story for that too. If you fuck up mac and cheese and mashed potatoes on a Thanksgiving, and you're bringing that to my family, like where it's like, oh, don't worry about it, guys, I'll make plenty, and you fuck that shit up, I think I might have to like break up with him. I think that's it. I can't take you to Thanksgiving next year. They'll roast her. But other than that, quick story. I got called gay by a chick 2 days ago.
Respect.
I was minding my own business at work. I was chilling. I'm not cooking. Just like kind of mopping the floors and stuff. I get a random Snapchat. I'm like, oh, snap. Chick I'm kind of interested in. Random fucking nude out of the blue. I never asked for it. The conversation we had wasn't gearing towards that. Just a random nude.
Those always stump you.
I was like, oh.
Really?
I was like, whoa. I looked at that and I was just like, I texted her back. I was like, and not to sound mean or like, it may have sounded mean when I said it. I was like, why did you send that?
Dude, that is the number one thing I fucking same shit. Some chick sent me some random shit one time and I legit asked, I was like, was that for me?
Yeah, I was like, why'd you send that? Legit, I was like, did you send that to me? Like, why'd you send that to me? And
because we were just talking about how because me and this chick, we were just talking about what sandwich is the best sandwich at Eric's Deli.
Oh my God, we were talking about fucking the best Disney movie. and all of a sudden, pussy. I was like,
Right? It's out of left field. You don't expect it.
I was stumped. And then she's like, I'm like, and I asked her that. I'm like, why'd you send that? Was that for me? And she's like, what? You didn't like it? I'm like, I'm not complaining.
Exactly. And then it makes you think like, oh, so you're calling me a slut?
No, yes. And she was like, this. Oh, what? So you don't like the nude? I was like, not. It just threw me off. I was like, I was like, thank you, like whatever. And she was just like, are you? And she was just like, are you gay? I was like, no, I would just. That's never happened to me before. Like,
what's your cash app? Let me send you $1. Like, thank you for the.
What's your Venmo? Can I just give you $1? Or is that?
I feel like I got to pay for this.
I mean, every girl has like, okay. When you have a cash app, when you see a girl on her Instagram page has a cash app, immediately think she's just selling her body.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, ladies. I don't know. Validate your pussy. I don't know. Just don't be send it to me now. I'm kind of mentally prepared now because every time I get a Snapchat from this other chick, I'm like, could this be a one? Because it'd be like, it's like, oh, it sends you a snap. I'm like, this could be the one. And then it's just a picture of her and like, oh, look at my new sandals. I'm like, I don't like your feet. So yeah, I got called.
Wrong guy. No fetish here.
Yeah, no, disgusting. Yeah, I got called gay. I was like, no. I was like, and she hasn't talked to me since.
Her loss.
I am not. Just do not quote that Drake album right now, please.
I don't even know what Drake album you're talking about, so I couldn't even.
That's the album, Her Loss.
Oh, I'm gonna listen to that tomorrow.
It's a disgusting. It's a cool album. I liked it. It's all right. Other than that story, anything happen at work or just? I know they're cracking the whip on you.
Nah, same old shit. We only work 3 days this week, and then we work 3 weeks, and then we're gonna be closed for like a little bit more than a week for our winter break.
Oh, it's like school.
Yeah, we basically take a winter break for school. That's really so we're just kind of trying to get as much done as we can because we're really not in the spot that we should be.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, like work is work. I'm still trying to find a second job. The job that I thought I was gonna get never happened. So still looking for that second job. That's about it. What are you looking at?
Freaking Epic Games. This is like the Epic Games tab on my computer started jumping up and down right now.
Who invited me? Who do I have to go?
No, I tried to play Fortnite on my Mac once and it didn't go too well.
Speaking of games real quick, I think Call of Duty is back where it's supposed to be.
I'll stick with Fortnite.
I'm not saying like competitively. I'm just saying Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the Warzone 2.0. They brought proximity chat back. Like it feels like I'm really playing the game. Like it brought me back to like MW2 vibes.
I must say that the clips I've been seeing have been fucking hilarious though.
Oh, dude,
they've been fucking funny. I love them. It's fucking great.
So I was playing last night on the stream. I was pissed because I'm playing solos, right? I'm looking at a direction. Like if you look at a certain direction, you can hear them. I turn right and it's like, dude, they're right there, right there, right there. I'm like, these motherfuckers are teaming up against me. I ended up destroying half of the squad, quote unquote, and then I ended up dying. I placed second, which was pretty dope. Other than that, I think it's all right. I think it's basically Warzone just with a bigger map, a huge map. It's disgustingly huge.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be that big. God damn it! Like if they had Warzone how it was, like that small map they had.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Rebirth was something totally different.
Oh, sorry. Then yeah. Then I liked Rebirth.
Because we never played the actual giant map that Warzone has. We only ever played Rebirth because we liked how fast paced it was, and just how small it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Warzone 2. It's okay. I'm leveling up some stuff. I streamed it the last couple of days, so check that out at WYOP Gaming on Twitch.com/WYOP Still at 20 followers for the last 2 months. Let's go.
It's okay. I got like 80 something followers. I don't even stream.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it is kind of discouraging, but at the same time, like I get what you were talking about. Like You got to stick to one game that you're good at. I'm a variety gamer. Like I want to play different games. But it's whatever. If I grow,
it's so hard to go off of being a variety. I've seen multiple streamers talk about it, how hard it is for variety streamers to pop off because you're trying to hit multiple fan bases when you don't really have that following yet.
Yeah.
Versus if you're someone who's a little larger, you can kind of like even Mark, like let's throw Mark for example.
Shout out to Mark.
Not a huge not a huge streamer, but he's been out there. He has like 1.5K maybe followers.
That's cool.
And he'll stream Apex, and sometimes he'll get like 80 something people in there.
Oh wow!
But if he streams like Uno or Fortnite,
nothing.
He'll pull at least 10 or 15.
I mean, at the same time, like to me, it's like I think obviously I've said this many times before on the podcast. Like the point of to get like Twitch or even TikTok going, I want that engage factor. Like I want to have that discussion when like people like whether I'm playing the game and I suck, but someone asks me like a question and that turns into a conversation. You know?
Yeah, and that's where I didn't really stream anything else for myself for a very long time. I built my whole Twitch channel just solely on Pokemon. Solely on Pokemon. That's all I built mine off of. Solely on Pokemon. But then again, I didn't start streaming Fortnite or any other games until I want to say I was at like 60 followers.
But at the same time, you really love Pokemon, so
like, yeah, you didn't. Really and then also like I would do showdown streams where I would play with the viewers and just play with random people.
Is that kind of cheating though? They get to see our like Pokemon.
It depends who I was playing with.
Oh, okay. But no, that's like me. I mean, obviously, like I'm not looking at like Twitch as a career. God, no. After what Twitch is doing right now, we ain't looking at. My thing is this: I'm surprised people haven't been like, "Yo, don't subscribe to me. Just give me that $5 and just give it to donations," because they keep all their donations. So.
Yeah, I've done see some people like switch over to linking like their PayPal or some shit.
Smart idea.
Because again, I know YouTube has the streaming option on there. Like me and you both, we could start streaming YouTube right now.
Actually,
the problem is,
I hate it. Dude,
we will never see a growth on YouTube because the way YouTube streaming works is based off of
your subscribers
who is subbed to you. That's what it's based off of. And YouTube also doesn't have a streamer zone at all.
No.
So the only way people will find you is if no one's going to find you off no recommended bullshit. The only way people will find you is is from like word to mouth on YouTube. Versus with Twitch, you could literally go on there and type in Pokemon Fire Red and you can hit high to low.
Yeah.
And it'll pull up Pokemon streamers who are streaming Fire Red with the least amount of viewers to the most amount of viewers. And that's basically how I kind of started getting more followers. How I did was I would do that I would go into Fortnite, I would go into Warzone and find people who only had 50 followers and only had the 2 viewers. And I would,
that's how networking works.
And then I would talk in their streams. I'd watch their streams. And I'd only do it for a while. If I could vibe with them and they would actually communicate, because there definitely was some times where I would like be talking in their chat and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Nothing. And they get a kill or they get a win. I send it like one of my emojis, like, "Oh, GG, good game." Fucking my Charmander, they just wouldn't respond, or they just wouldn't. I could tell they looked at it, but then they just don't say shit. And I was like, "Okay, dude, well, I'm not gonna fucking follow you. I'm not gonna talk to you."
And I feel like with like that, like that's the entertaining aspect of like, if you like say like obviously with me, like I'm not looking at Twitch as a career. Like I just want it as an outlet to conversate with people, like people that have watched my stream sometimes, like the 2 or 3 people that watch it. It's crazy. I get more I get more views than I do actually getting people live, like watching it live. But what I was saying is like that engagement aspect of it. Like people can see my stream all the time. I'm constantly looking to my other screen. I'm like, oh snap, like someone talked. I'm like, oh, like, oh, sorry I didn't get to it at that moment. I was, focused on the game or whatever. But I don't know. I like with Twitch, not looking at it as a career. Just if it I think we said it many times. If it happens, it happens. But
it happens.
At the same time, I'm not like, oh my God, I need to stream for 17,000 hours in a week. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, screw you.
If I had more free time, if I wasn't always as tired, I definitely probably would stream more.
I just stream when I want to. But I'm obviously
I have when I want to. You know, I have more leeway. Fucked up is I always have more leeway. I have every opportunity to stream on the weekends. Like when me, you, Tristan play, I could easily hit stream. The problem is for me too. The only reason why I don't do it is because we play games so late. It's shown enough times. No one comes around.
Yeah.
At 10, 11 o'clock our time. No one pops in.
No.
Versus when I stream like midday. If I were to play Fortnite midday, like on a weekday, like on a weekend or something like that, I would probably have a lot more people. But it's just like when we play like at 9 o'clock, and it's just like I'll have like Mark, me and my cousin Vincent comes in, maybe like one or two other people. Like I can get some people in there, but they stay for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then at that point it's like my only viewer is probably Adri, who just has her phone open on Twitch, and she just sets it on the side and turns the volume all the way down.
No, I feel like I feel it. Like it's sometimes like to me personally, I'm not the type of person to stream. I get my time during the night. Like this is like obviously this is like my free time right now, but but at the same time I do feel like that because I get nobody. Like I think the most I've ever gotten the last like month, I had like 6 viewers, and that was actually really really fun. But at the same time, like none of them followed me. Like I never got like the Twitch emoji, like the notifications, because like I customize all my notifications.
It's fucking weird. Sometimes people will just sit and watch you, but they don't follow, and it's like, motherfucker, just I don't give a fuck if you watch me afterwards, but just like hit the follow thing and just turn my notifications off. You know, like
yeah, because my I don't know if it, will it play it, because I'm curious if it'll play it right now.
I don't know, because we've been going pretty good. I don't know if you want to risk playing something and fucking this all up.
We're trying this right now. This is my follow. This is like if you follow me. If it works. Oh no, it's not on the stream part. Never mind. We're not going back to that. But it's like it's the chick from Vermilion Gold, and it's like the Ada. Like that one, I thought it was pretty cool. I have a bunch of other ones I've been messing around with, but at the same time, like I'm cool with it. You know, it is what it is. By the way, YouTube, screw streaming on there, bro. It is so complicated just to start it up. I tried streaming on the channel once just to like see how it goes. Maybe I might switch over or whatever. Fuck that. Fuck that, bro. That is so complicated. But now we got little touched a little bit of bases on us. First topic of today. This is gonna be a really weird episode. Just how we're gonna switch. First
topic is kind of a.
It's a heavy one.
Kind of a heavy one. It's a heavy one.
Yeah.
Because two episodes ago, we literally just kind of somewhat went over.
I talked about
topic-ish of mental health.
Obviously, I'm still here
and everything.
So I didn't go through.
You're still here. Because if he did some stupid shit, I'd probably go bring him back and probably beat his ass myself and be like, all right, now you can die.
Oh, fuck you. But ladies and gentlemen, for people that are like my age and basically our age, because we're like 2 years apart, like a year or two apart.
Even older than me.
My uncles watched this from the beginning. One of my favorites, not my favorite Power Ranger, but like this just hit so home to me for the fact that I grew up watching him. The R.I.P. to Tommy Oliver. I don't know. I keep forgetting his actual name.
Jason David Frank.
He had sadly passed away due to suicide, and it hits hard. You know, it hits hard, and I've seen people go on like live streams and like people are texting like, "Oh, did you see what happened?" and they're crying. Like, and I think that's crazy to think like people like that really impact our lives. You know. Like,
I mean, if you think about the Power Rangers in general, they really were that first I don't know if you want to call them a cartoon, but like
they were
that first kids show that really.
I think that's a better example.
Kids show. They were that first kids show that really had real people.
Yeah, obviously, if you guys want to be super technical, there's like, oh, well, you have like the other barbarian shows or the other things, but like, we're talking about like pop culture. Power Rangers is pop culture, and it sucks. And people, I love Power Rangers to this fucking day. I love Power Rangers. I'll rewatch all of them again. Like that to me, like it's crazy to think. And I know my uncle will listen to this. Like shout out to Anthony. He was on this. He was on the podcast, guys. Just go follow his podcast, the Nonsense Podcast. AKA Anthony, AKA Sloth. Like it's crazy to think that he's not like he's my mom's brother, right? Like my stepmom's brother. But obviously I don't call her. I don't call her mom. I mean, I don't call her stepmom. I call her mom. That's my uncle. It's crazy to think like he's just like one day he's like, you like watching Power Rangers? I was like, yeah, I love watching Power Rangers, and we just hit it off that way. And then I remember one summer, all the Power Rangers were on Netflix. Every single season of the Power Rangers, and we watched every single season of the Power Rangers, and that to me was like our biggest bonding moment. Like every time he'd come home from work, he'd be home like at 8:00, or if he had a day off, he's like, you want to watch Power Rangers? I'm like, I'll watch the Power Rangers with you, and we'll spend all day watching Power Rangers. And it's crazy to think like, obviously I don't consider like Tommy like my idol. I love Tommy, but like he was just huge, such this huge impact on people. Like
he was just such a big player in the Power Rangers world in general.
Well, like, he was the first.
If you look at every single project they did, basically, there was never not one Power Rangers project that he
didn't touch.
Never had. Yeah, he never. There was not one that he did not touch. Even after his initial storyline was done,
because he
was just always there. Like motherfucker was the Green Ranger. He was the White Ranger. I have a replica of his fucking helmet in my house.
I even have I somewhere in these boxes I still have Saba, bro. Like one of the first toys is Saba, and I have the Dragon Dagger. Like to me that was cool because he was like the first ever introduction. Like an evil ranger. Like whoa, let's come out of left field.
And fucking evil ranger. He was the first fucking like.
Not only that motherfucker had Black Air Force energy. How did this dude have the quad energy to jump into another motherfucking Megazord, whoop their asses, and kick them out of their own Megazord? Like, dude, that dude was crazy. Like me watching that, I'm like, this man's serious. But like that is just insane. Like even to be honest, I don't even like him in the Mighty Morphin series. I loved him in Dino Thunder when he was the Black Ranger.
Oh yeah,
bro, dude, talk about the other White Ranger that had Black Air Force energy, bro. Trent was that dude. But like even the little things that he like had there was many seasons where he was never in it, but when he made his appearance,
but he would like touch into like multiple of them.
Well, he was a martial artist too, so like he would always do some type of. Well, obviously, for people that don't know, like all the stuff you see, like the fighting scenes, they're not like actually actors. I mean, not obviously there's actors, but they're not like filmed. They're pre-filmed because people that don't know, it's from Super Sentai, or from Sentai. That's like the Japanese. Like everything Power Rangers originally came from Japan. Like, dude, I highly recommend if anybody ever watches Sentai, go watch it. Way more crazy. I think like the Wild Force one, like the Blue Ranger dies.
But I did again, Jason Dare Frank, he was a legit martial artist as well, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Jeet Kune Do, which you guys don't know that one. That's the martial art that Bruce Lee basically created. Shotokan, a couple different ones. He was a legit martial artist. He actually opened up, I believe, 3 or 5 dojos for underprivileged neighborhoods here in the U.S.
Like
to help kids get over bullying.
He was really big part of his community.
He was one of those guys where he really he gave back to his community. I saw a TikTok the other day where someone took of him where he was talking in front of a meet and greet where he was like, I don't like where he was like, I don't like when celebrities say, I don't want people to call me their hero. And he was kind of like, I will never not like when someone calls me their hero, because if I was able to get someone through that day, then that means I've been doing my job right the whole entire time.
Like he was just like, a genuine person.
He was just generally just fucking, you know, like I'm not gonna sit here and stand same thing as you and be like, oh, like, you know, the character Tommy Oliver was my favorite,
like, you know, like
Power Ranger, but like I grew up watching Power Rangers. My cousin Daniel was super into Power Rangers, and because of him, I got into Power Rangers, and it was like his character I always watched. He was like in every single one.
Yeah,
and
like,
it was just
because he was in Mighty,
he was in to think it's just like
Mighty Morphin, he was in Turbo, and then what was the other one after?
Mighty Morphin, Turbo, Zeo, the Dino. I think he was even in the Samurai one. He had like cameos in multiple.
He has multiple, like, talk about like physically, like he's been a part of the season. He was in Zeo. Just all fresh off of memory. I'm like, I'm not really gonna look that up. He was in Mighty Morphin when he was a part of it. He was in Zeo, which my favorite was when he was in Zeo, and then he was in Turbo. I didn't like him in Turbo.
I got him all pulled up right now.
The seasons that he was a part of?
Yeah.
Which ones?
So Mighty Morphin, obviously the movie, all the Mighty Morphins at the movies.
Dude, I'll say this. Him as the
ninja.
Turbo, Zeo.
Dino Thunder.
Zeo should be a part of that.
Zeo. There's another Turbo. Alien Rangers, Ninja Steel, Mega Force, Wild Force.
Wait. He was in Wild Force?
Yep, he shows up right here in Wild Force.
Can you put that on the stream it real quick? I love Wild Force is like one of my favorites. I don't even remember that. What?
Showing you right now, right here, Wild Force 202.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, wow.
2022, Mega Force, Ninja Steel, Alien Rangers, Turbo, Dino Thunder, Zeo, the Rangers movie. I fucking love the Turbo Rangers movie. That's one of my favorite fucking Power Rangers movies.
To be honest, that's not my favorite one. Is like when Ivan oozed. That's my favorite one. Why do you like the Turbo one so much?
I don't know. I think it's because it was the first Power Rangers movie I saw as a kid. So it just kind of stuck me. Kind of how, like, you know, the third Pokemon movie is my favorite one because it was the first one I saw.
Pendejo me. I know why he's in Wild Force. Do you remember the Forever Red episode?
I think so.
So that's when they had.
That's where all the Red Rangers came together, right?
Yeah. So Tommy was the Zeo Ranger, I think, at that time. No, he was the
he was multiple Red Rangers.
Well, I forgot which one he was at that time. I think he was the Zeo one because Turbo had already passed. He was some Red Ranger. But now I remember. I'm like, Wild Force. I'm like, what? I don't remember that. And then next thing you know, I just remember Forever Red. But
yeah, then he was in a couple other movies and shows here and there, but never.
It wasn't.
Definitely most notable thing was
Power Rangers.
Most notable.
I see his interactions with
right
a lot of the fans, and I even seen a bunch of people like talk about it even before his death. He's not like a douchebag or anything. Like he's genuine. He's just a genuine person to the fans, and you know.
What fucking sucks is the fact that I had seen him multiple times as guest listing at the San Jose Comic-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
And I never once. It was like I always found out about the San Jose Comic-Cons the day that, like, the last day they'd be here, and it's like
it was a fan day, right?
Shit, like, you know, I'll go next year, but it was like,
well, next year could never happen.
You know, I had seen him multiple times. Again, I had seen him multiple times as one of the guests that were there, and I have a buddy who actually has two of his from fucking Mighty Morphin, his Green Ranger, the Funko Pops. He has two of them that are signed by him.
Oh, that's what's up.
And it's just little things like that. It's just like, fuck. Like, I wish I would have just pulled trigger on those days just to fucking meet the guy and just to, you know, snag a picture with the guy. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a genuine person. Like, I'm not gonna get on here and say, I was the biggest Tommy fan. I wasn't. I was a fan of, I was a fan of Jason. I was a big fan of Jason. But I think what made me, like, pulled my heartstrings a little bit with it, and I almost teared up, is when the cast found out. Did you see?
Yeah, I've seen videos of that, of the cast kind of
Kimberly, bro,
coming out and talking about it. It's just because right there, those are people who
were on set with him, like
spent days, filming, hours, years, generally getting to know a guy and working with him every single day. And I'm sure those guys were all 100% fucking family at the end of it.
Oh, no doubt about it. Like,
those are the fucking hard ones when you see cast members reacting to it. And we've lost a lot of childhood stars in the last couple, you say 2 months. We've lost a lot of childhood stars, like
Kevin Conroy, bro. The fucking
iconic Batman. Voice of Batman,
dude. Like it sucks that like our childhood is fucking dying, bro. Like that fucking, like, I always forget, like, bro, like the last couple of years, bro, like my childhood is like people that are like DMX. I'm a huge DMX fan. For him to fucking die like that, I'm like, fuck, bro. And like,
yeah, so the guy you said, the guy, iconic voice of Batman, fucking DMX, Jason David Frank, Robbie Coltrane, fucking, he was most famously known as Hagrid, Harry Potter.
Yeah, like, was this like
well, fucking hit me about that one, dude. The one guy who played Hagrid was, they did like an anniversary thing for HBO, right?
I think I seen that.
And he was already old as shit when he was just like, it's crazy to think, like, these movies always be here and da 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 da, and Hagrid will always be here for you guys and your kids. He's just like, but I won't. He's like, but I won't be here. And I'm just like, motherfucker. Like, why did you just have to say that to me?
You didn't say that.
It was crazy. I was just watching some of the Harry Potter movies the other day, because like, it's, just how Star Wars is for me. Like, Harry Potter is like up there for me too.
I'm not like that. I could watch that with. I'm not like that.
I could watch every Star Wars. I could watch every Star Wars. I could watch every Harry Potter.
Maybe one of these days, like once eventually, like I'll put up the Patreon and all that, I'll watch the entirety of Star Wars with you. Like, and we'll have that as an exclusive, and I'll have like my own like reaction to it.
Dude, I feel like if I had you sit down and watch, I would have you watch the main movies first, and then you can kind of branch off into like the
episode 1, 2, 3
movies and in between shows yourself.
The one of my favorite ones, my favorite Star Wars one, is when they came out on Cartoon Network when they were animated. Not Clone Wars.
Those are actually those are canon. Those are canon.
I like those ones. Those are really dope.
But
I think it's the same guy that did Samurai Jack. But like, it's like, it sucks. Like my thing is like with Gundam. Like when Gundam came, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Yu-Gi-Oh's up there. I can watch Yu-Gi-Oh all day. Like I can literally go watch Yu-Gi-Oh right now.
I need to rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh.
And like, dude, like with me, like with Kazuki Takahashi, when he died this year, I was like, bro, this dude made the fucking game that I played all the fucking time. I remember, bro, in elementary school when Battle City first fucking came out.
Yeah, I remember all that. I remember being in elementary school and going to school every day with your fucking deck of cards and being like, oh, like, look at this card. I used to fucking fall asleep with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in my hand. and my dumbass would be like, how come they don't stay in my hand overnight? And I'd wake up in the morning with his Yu-Gi-Oh cards plastered everywhere, and I'm like, they came to life.
But like, dude, I remember like Battle City rules. Like Battle City rules, if people remember like the anime, it was if you won, you would take 2 cards from their person and you do whatever. Dude, I remember me, my buddy Anthony, Jason, and George, we constructed the biggest Battle City tournament ever. Like in our elementary school, where it's just like there was 30 of us. Put decks all together, put 2 cards from your deck, and you got to put it there, bro. The Blue Eyes White Dragon I have still to this day, I won from that fucking tournament. And that Blue Eyes White Dragon, if I were to, I'm never selling it, But if I were to sell that card's like at least $1,000 just by itself, not graded or anything. I'm just saying, I may came in 3rd place, but I was cheated. Fuck you, Chelsea. I know you fucking cheated. But and she was like, and I was like, man, and I lost like 2 of my Egyptian god cards that day. So sad. Favorite Egyptian god card, by the way. I like Slyther. But I think it sucks, bro. Like, dude, like, if we're even gonna get into that topic of like suicide, dude, like, people just go talk to somebody. Like, I thought Alex was bullshitting when, he said I'd feel like 10 times lighter after saying what I said, and
I knew you were.
It felt like fuck, bro. Like keeping that shit in for like the longest time and actually like getting that out. And you're the only person I've ever said like what I said. If I want to sum it up, in 2020 when I turned 22, the minute I turned 22, I was gonna unalive myself, and I said no, can't go out the pussy way. We gotta fight life how it is, and it sucks, like, and it really does suck. Like a lot of people really don't really give a shit about men's mental health, but at the same time, us dudes ourselves don't really take it seriously. Like I think Patty Pimblett said it the best. I'd rather my buddy cry on my shoulder than me crying on his grave.
Yeah. And he would rather his mate cry on his shoulder than him carry his casket next week.
Yeah, and it sucks, bro. Like it really does suck. Like obviously us as dudes, I would say within our generation we're brought up to be, like our dads or like our grandfathers, which is, you said it, like you gotta suck it up, like can't cry, you can't do this, you can't do that, like whatever.
Yeah, I think how long have we been recording now?
We've been recording for about half an hour, 37 minutes exactly.
So based on the statistics, 2 men have just committed suicide in the time that we have been talking.
Who knows? One of them might be on the fucking news tonight. Like it sucks.
The average statistic is that 1 male dies by suicide every 14 and a half minutes.
Like,
so you gotta think about that. And in the time you guys, in the 30 minutes you guys have been listening to us talk, 2 men statistically have taken their lives. There are 3.9 male deaths by suicide for each female death by suicide.
And
not trying to throw any shade on fucking female suicides there. That's just the statistic stuff I pulled up. If you guys want to take up arms, go to save.org and go after them.
Fight them.
That's just the statistic that I've pulled up here.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's a rough situation to talk about, but at the same time, I think it does need to be talked about.
It 100% does. Not enough people talk about it. There's not a whole lot of thing about it because like. And I feel like guys' ways of dealing with it and talking about it is by joking about it.
Yeah,
that's literally our way of talking about it. Like
like how many times did we text each other like, "Yo, I'm gonna fucking kill myself today"?
I don't think I texted you that once. I think I sent you some Walmart bullshit.
No, you text me that like. You text me that. I'm just like putting it as a joking manner. We have definitely told ourselves like, "I'm gonna fucking kill myself today." I'm like, why? Fucking can't open this can of fucking thing. I think you were like drunk that night. Like I can't open this fucking can of beer. I'm gonna kill myself. I was like, hey, dude, you do you, buddy. But
beer never wants to open for me, fucking pussy.
Right, dude. I felt like that with this fucking can of Pringles.
Those are easier to open than beer.
I will say this. This was like 2 nights ago. I was very faded, and I thought the bottom part was how you open it. But yeah, go talk to somebody. It's okay. It's okay to be a bitch. I was a bitch live on this fucking episode. If I can be a bitch, then you can be a bitch. So be a bitch. So Pokemon cards, Alex. Go from suicide to Pokemon. What kind of podcast with this beef? We didn't go fucking straight left field. But no, seriously, do talk to somebody. If it has to be a therapist, talk to them. I don't know. Go sign up for. It
could be a therapist. It could be your sibling. It could be your cousin. It could be a parent. It could be your fucking dog. Your goldfish. Fucking anyone. The last thing I want to fucking see is any of you fucks on the news.
Not a goldfish, because I think it's something like this. You need a response, even if it's a dog. If they bark at you, at least a dog will. At least what I think with a dog, like I don't have one, but if I were to like give my problems, I feel like they understand, but they don't really. But in my head, they understand my problems.
Look at that dumbass. Let me go to bed.
It's like, motherfucker, I'm trying to sleep, and I don't know, but yeah, go talk to somebody. Don't, you know what? Better yet, get a podcast, talk about it there. You might get a response or two out of it. We get it sometimes, and yeah, I think that'll be the end of it. R.I.P. to Tommy, and Kevin Conroy. So
Pokemon cards. Apparently that you can retire from the NFL on them.
You really can. Like you really can. Honestly, I'll get into the logistics right now, but ladies,
I'm bringing it all up right now.
No, like I'm talking about like breaking down like a contract. I know you have like the thing, but
no, this whole thing has a contract and everything too.
Oh, okay, cool. So, why don't you lead it, because you're the ringleader today.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so surprised this didn't make more of a like headway at all.
Because it's not Logan Paul.
True. Then again, I also don't know how big or small Blake Martinez is.
He was a kind of player.
I see he's been in 4 different teams.
Yeah, he was injuries did plague him, but let me see if I can. What's his name? Blake Martinez.
Blake Martinez. So let's get down to the gist of it, ladies and gentlemen. Blake Martinez sells Pokemon Illustrator cards CGC 9.5. Pokemon Illustrator 1999 Japanese for $672,000, and then retires from the NFL right after. Now, when I first initially heard this, I thought this was just him retiring off of this one Money in the Bank fucking card. And when I heard this, I was like, motherfucker, how are you going to retire just off this one card? I did a little more deep diving on this guy's.
Oh yeah, he's
overall collection. He is actually an avid collector. He has multiple multiple vintage sets. He has a base set 2 booster box. He has from the Ruby and Sapphire area booster box.
That's a really
he has
good
a
one.
Jungle booster box. He has multiple just modern sealed vintage.
Just to put it in perspective, he was a 4th round pick. Not to say 4th round.
So not the best is what I want to take from that.
Kind of 4th round picks. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple diamond in the roughs. Fred Warner, the best corner, the best linebacker in the NFL, is with my Niners. He was a 4th round pick, but Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. But usually 4th round picks aren't that like Shazam.
My takeaway was the fact that I saw him in 4 different jerseys.
Yeah.
But meaning like, okay, so this motherfucker got shot around a couple times.
Yeah, he was.
And then you throw in 4th round pick, makes me think he really wasn't that worth it.
He was a middle linebacker. Obviously, like I said this before, I've seen him. Like I said, he's nothing too spectacular. He had talent, but again, plagued with injuries. He went from the Packers, then he went to the Giants. Las Vegas Raiders was the last team, and he retired with the Raiders. I don't know what the 3rd team was.
Yeah, you probably just look up what all his teams were. But if you guys aren't mistaken, this Illustrator card, 9.5 CGC, sold for $672. This just so happens to be the same card
Logan Paul bought,
that Logan Paul purchased for $5 million.
But that was at a 10, though, right?
A PSA 10.
To me, the grading system is so weird now. Ever since this guy posted, people shout out to PokeHive for he wasn't trying to dog any grading system. He was just showing that grading can really be just on the person, on how they feel. Because he cracked open a shining, what's it called? A shining Magikarp. and sent it to PSA, got a 9. Then went to CG and then cracked it again, went to CGC, got a 5. And then went to Beckett and got a 10. But don't get me, like, my thing is this, grade, it's not to show, like, to shit on any grading systems and that. It just shows, like, the margin of, like, how these people go, obviously with population control and all that. But, you know, I think it's crazy. Like, obviously a PSA is a very well, you know, notable grading service. I think it's crazy, you know, how obviously he's an avid collector. He could sell his collection and make millions if he really wanted to. But, like, if you look at, like, contract reconstructions, like, I think if you pull up his contract, 4th rounders, like, as the picks go on, you lose more money. Everyone wants to be the number 1 overall pick for the main fact that you're guaranteed $32 million for the next 4 years. So you're guaranteed $8 million a year. You know, you're guaranteed millions. And then the more you go down, the more you lose. So like with him, I believe he was only making like maybe $750,000 a year, if I'm not mistaken, on that contract. You can look
I'm pulling it up right now. Contract.
Look up his rookie contract.
I'm pulling up his overall.
His like net worth.
Yeah. Okay, so with the New York Giants. Okay,
so let's see here. So his rookie contract, he was only given $2.7 million for 4 years. So you guys do the math.
Okay.
Not doing that. Just put $2 million. He was making like literally almost $500,000 a year. Can't live off, because with the NFL, nothing's guaranteed, guys. Like, the biggest thing is the guaranteed. Someone can offer you, if you're the best corner, and someone can offer you $200 million to play for them, but you're not getting that $200 million. You're getting what they guarantee you. That's what I hate about the NFL sometimes. Like, oh, we'll give you $100 million, but only $45 million is guaranteed. To me, it makes no sense. They're like, oh, I can work up to make that $100 million, but they never do. But so like with him, he was guaranteed the 2.7.
I'm a screenshot you this thing I found right now.
Is it reconstructing it?
Do you see it?
I see it right now. What does it say?
Okay.
The base salary was this for the Green Bay 4 years, 2.7. Signing bonus was 3,000. Average salary. So yeah, he was making a little bit above. I was sort of right. So with the NFL, right, you're not guaranteed all this money. So if you guys look at I'll put it real quick on there. You guys can look on his own. His contract was, he was getting $1 million. His average salary for 3 years, $30 million before injuries. But then again, he wasn't given that total, so he was only making 19. And then he didn't even make the $1 million mark because he retired, and the Raiders can decide to give him the money if they wanted to. You know, that money isn't going to go anywhere. Obviously, if he was able to retire on $19 million, you still got to pay everybody, your agent, you got to pay everybody. You got to pay everybody out. But with that, it's like guaranteed money. Like his Pokemon card is guaranteed him, you know, like that $650K. But obviously that 19 million obviously didn't come into place because he only played there for a very short amount of time because he was injured. Dude, 2020, 22, he never finished either. He never finished the contract because he was injured for 2 years. He got it because he tore his ACL. And, you know, it's whatever. I mean, with that Pokemon card, it's like a real investment. Like, you know, to get that even as a 9, and the illustrated cards now, I guarantee you, are just going to go up in value.
Probably.
But I think obviously he wasn't like trying to get like a quick cash grab, like, oh, but he's like you said, he's a real avid collector of Pokemon. So
yeah, that's basically what I found, is that he's actually an avid collector.
I even read a link, like he goes on live sometimes and just cracks open, like, oh, look what I bought today, and he
has multiple vintage booster boxes in his possession, so it's not like he's just some like he caught some just lucky card and fucking sold it off and boom, he's an avid collector.
So yeah, like good for him. And that honestly, that saves him a lifelong time, like fucking injuries and like CTE and all that shit. So like if he retires like that, good for him. Like congratulations, Blake.
Yeah, and
by the way,
I think that's. I think
we can end that topic right there. What was I gonna say? Speaking on like the Pokemon topic, do you have like a set that you would like to open up, like just like a random, like out of the sets that ever came out? Do you have like a specific set like you really want to open like a box of if you had like the money to buy it?
Not off the top of my head, I have been drinking, so all the names are kind of jumbled up in my brain.
I think the one I've always wanted, I want to open it again, is Expeditions. That's like one of my favorite sets. I don't know. Obviously the Gengar's in there, and the Gengar's like my favorite, but I don't know. Something about that set was like that was like my peak childhood when it came to like Pokemon, was Expeditions and Game Boys and all that stuff. But I think we'll switch over to sports. Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, that actually got approved.
Set for Vegas.
April, baby.
April?
Yeah. Tank's gonna fight in January for like a tune-up fight. So.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's what I thought.
So what happens if Tank loses?
Then they might just take
fight.
That's the big thing. If Tank's so confident, like Tank doesn't have to take that fight. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
Like to me,
but what happens if he loses that fight?
I'm pretty sure the value in the Ryan fight loses dramatically. Like, oh, he lost, so why does he need to beat? Like, we now know Ryan can beat him, So that loses, like, the value of that fight loses dramatically. I don't even know who this dude is. I didn't even look him up.
I'm surprised Nevada will even sanction that, though.
Why?
To fight in January and then fight again in April?
A lot of fighters do that. Mark Castro, he's fought in 6 times this year.
But it's kind of stupid on Nevada's part, because what if Tank, and it's kind of stupid on them for even booking the fight, because like what if Tank gets like actually like hurt? What if he takes more damage than expected in this fight?
Then
we're pushing this fight further, even further out than it's been pushed out.
Yeah, I mean, my thing was this when I first saw it. It's just like, technically, I don't think he needs this as a tune-up fight. If I want to see as a tune-up fight, Raleigh was his tune-up fight. He just
fought last year.
Yeah, like he fought Raleigh. He fought Raleigh this year.
Well, why do you need a tune-up? You literally just fought
like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, but you just fought,
but I do understand.
And you didn't even necessarily fight up a tune-up fight. You fought someone who
technically was a top talent.
Technically was a top contender. And so it's like, where's really the tune-up needed? I mean, like, hey, if you're that confident and you want to take the fight, go ahead. I'm not in your corner. I'm not your management. Take the fucking fight.
That's true, but like, if anything, it would be, if I'm Ryan, I would fight in January. With Ryan Garcia, he looked average in his 2 fights. When his debut came back against Tagao, obviously like the ring rust and all that. If you're not able to knock out Tagao, he had him hurt multiple times. That you need work. And then with Fortuna didn't even throw a single shot. Like he threw maybe 1 or 2, one really big hit, and then like he just didn't fight for the rest of for the time being. So if I'm Ryan Garcia, Tank has been way more active than he has in these last 2 years than Ryan. Like Tank's fought since COVID and has continued to fight since COVID. And Ryan Garcia is barely 2 fights into this year. I think Ryan needs to take a January fight to get the complete ring rust out, so there's no excuses. I don't want to hear an excuse if he loses. I'm saying if. I do think I still have Tank in this fight winning, but with Ryan, if Ryan were to lose, there's an excuse. Oh, I'm only 2 fights in. It's been a long time. And with Tank, it would just be, I don't know. Tank is the type of dude that if he loses, he'd be very critical about himself. I feel like that's Tank. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, because Tank's very technical. Like, he's even said, like, oh, this was a bad performance by me. you know, like whatever, like these guys are easy, like, you know, he talks his stuff or whatever. But in other news, I think they're talking about Lomachenko versus Devin Haney.
I've seen that.
I don't think that fight happens anytime soon. I think Devin's gonna hold those belts until summer. I'll be shocked if they have a fight in like February or like April. I'll be shocked. I just think, I don't know. That's a weird one. Like the lightweight division is a very interesting division right now. If anything else with it, like Tank taking the January, you don't really need it. I think you're good enough to fight Ryan. Just, you know, go through the basics of training camp or whatever. But as of right now, like I see it as the biggest fight of the year. To me, that's the biggest fight. Obviously, Canelo wants to get that rematch with Bivol. Canelo even said, "Oh, I'll fight in May, and then I want Bivol in September." But it is what it is. Like with boxing right now, it's so. I'm not saying it's stagnant. We've had some really great matches this year. I just feel like
I would say we've had some good matches, but I feel like the overall champion state of boxing is really stagnant.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. I think I think in the next couple of weeks, Inoue is going to be fighting for undisputed, so I'm going to be watching that. Sadly, it's in Japan. Yeah. I might be asleep, but Inoue is one of my favorite fighters.
I think the whole state of boxing is stuck in this fucked position where you have a lot of dominant champions that aren't being given real problems.
I do agree with that. I just think with boxing right now, it's so stagnant to where the sanctions aren't putting their foot forward and forcing these fights to happen. Like they're leaving it.
I would say the biggest example of her be Haney Tank.
No, because Haney just got undisputed.
Those guys need to fight.
Yes, I do agree with that, but
they need to fight.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's money. Right now, everyone wants to see Ryan and Tank, so they have to make that a title eliminator. They've already made it a title eliminator. Winner gets Haney. So, you know, as confident as Tank is, he was taking that January fight. If he wins, let's say he wins January and wins against Ryan, there is no other option than in Haney. The ball is in Haney's court now. Basically saying we can fight in your backyard, you can fight in our. What's up?
Oh shit, that's gonna be funny.
Oh what?
You froze hardcore right now.
You did too.
And I was talking the whole. I was talking the whole entire time.
I heard everything.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I didn't hear anything you were saying.
Okay, so can you hear all this now?
I can hear all this now.
Okay. What I said was this. They made Ryan and Tank the title eliminator. Winner gets Haney. That is now up to Haney to take this fight. So my thing it's kind of weird is they're leaving this to the promoters rather than the sanctions stepping in. Like we should have had Errol Spence and Bud Crawford fight already for those belts. They are the only guys left to fight for those belts. That is it. Why haven't we gotten this super fight? Because the managers and the promoters are into this, which they shouldn't be a part of this. They should, yes, negotiate the money and all that, but they shouldn't be that big of an impact to a fighter. The sanction is to me, it's this. If boxing had the same team as UFC's promotion, boxing is immediately 100 times better than it is. Like
it's just the difference is any MMA promotion has 100% complete control over their champions.
What do you mean by that? Like who they fight?
Whereas boxing, how you're explaining right now, is
run by promoters.
These promoters and managers have more control than the promotion has.
Well, the promotions are part of these managers. Like De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, he's the promoter. I'm talking about the sanctions, like the WBC, all that. They are in control of who fights the champion or who's fighting.
Oh, that's the thing is UFC has 110% control over everything. And UFC, Bellator, PFL, one championship. Mm-hmm. They have 100% control of that. Well, they'll just go, okay, so our champ doesn't want to fight the number one contender. Here's what we're going to do. You can either fight him, we'll do an interim belt anyway, or we can just go ahead and just strip you.
And that's the thing. Like, the sanctions do that sometimes. Like, the sanctions do strip fighters of their belts, but I feel like they're not putting the fucking gavel and saying, you're fighting this person, and if you, like, to me, I think the ranking system should be strictly to the sanctions and not up to DAZN or Ring Magazine, yes, because they've been a big part of boxing, but like, let's just say this: Ring Magazine but let's just say it's under one person, one sanction. Let's say Ring Magazine, they control all the rankings. Then they should control who fights who. Like, they control pound for pound, they control the divisions, all that stuff. Like, who's the ranks? So, like, it's like, okay, Haney, you got to fight Tank. Well, I don't want to fight Tank. All right, then cool. Those belts are up for grabs. You have no say into it unless you want to fight. Like, that's me personally. I like how like, there's some things that the UFC I do like, and there's some things I don't like. I do love how it's under one person. Or not one person, it's under one promotion. We fight whoever, you fight this person. If you don't, we're going to force you to fight them. And if you still don't want to fight it, we're taking the title away from you. Because you're not going to ruin this division because you're scared. Like,
and that's basically where the Francis situation's at right now.
I would say almost with Davidson Figueiredo also.
It's kind of where Figueiredo and Brando is set, done, and it's set, deal, done. Their date is set.
But before that,
there was some bullshit going on beforehand. But I would say now our biggest example is Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. But at the same time, they did him dirty too.
He's been ready to fight. He has been able to fight. He has just been not wanting to fight because he wants Conor McGregor money when he's not a Conor McGregor named fighter.
Okay, there's a thing.
Why do Usman and Adesanya get over $1 million when they fight? Because they've been active. They were active and dominant. You have had one title defense.
That is it.
You have had one title defense, and you are not the biggest name in that heavyweight division. No. I'm going to say the last biggest name in the heavyweight division was Brock Lesnar.
Wow. Well, yes, I do agree with that because before the belt was
Brock
just jumping
Lesnar
around.
Was the biggest name in the heavyweight division. The best heavyweight division champion was Stipe Miocic.
Yes, Stipe was definitely the greatest as a
Francis, you do not deserve anything. You are nothing but a bitch for not wanting to take the Jones fight.
But at the same time, like, I understand.
And go ahead, like, make your argument for Jones. But Jones.
But why does Jones get to have that belt out over anything? Why does he not fight Stipe?
Because Jones has not lost since he's entered the UFC.
Okay, I understand.
He has defended that. He has defended the belt.
I understand
that. He defended that belt 14 times.
I feel like it's the same thing with Pereira. Why does he get the title fight immediately after that? And I do get it. The division
Pierre was a little different. Pierre was because the division was stagnant.
I was going to say this division is stagnant, but like, you look at how
Jones is a case of,
I would say,
he cleaned out the whole light heavyweight division. Jones beat the era before him, his era, and the new gen era.
Who was part? Dominic Reyes.
Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith, Thiago Alves.
Okay, you're convincing
John Jones.
You're convincing me.
So Jones beat 3 eras of that division.
Before Dominic, everyone's gonna say, Dominic Reyes. This is before Dominic. This is when Dominic Reyes was hyped.
Look, I think Dominic Reyes won that fight. I think Dominic Reyes. I feel like I really think he won that fight. Dominic Reyes definitely went on some sort of spiral afterwards. Whatever.
Well, no. He didn't go on a spiral.
Whatever. Let's move on from Dominic Reyes.
He didn't go on a spiral. He just fought fucking Blachowicz, and that was the end of it.
I think for him it was just a weird case of like he just believed into his own hype a little too much.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing.
He went into that whole thing of like, I beat John Jones, and that might have backfired a little bit on him.
Kind of a big head.
But John Jones is a little different. It's like, it's like, how do you not just give that guy a title shot?
problems outside of UFC.
Here's the thing. They've been trying to do the Stipe fight. They have been trying.
Didn't you send me
They've tried
like
Jones Stipe. They've tried Francis Stipe. Both of them. I'm not ready. Not both of them have been denying John Jones. So now it's getting to the point where it's like, you know what? Fuck it. This is the date. John Jones, regardless, will have an opponent on that date, whether it's Francis or it's now Curtis Blades.
So do you think with UFC right now, do you think they'll just throw an interim and just force him to fight that interim? I don't think Francis
I honestly feel like once we get close, because they're pushing out as far as March. They wanted to do it January. Now they're pushing Jones for March. I think if they're going to go for March, it's going to be for a whole belt in general.
You think they'll? I think they'll strip Francis.
I think strip Stipe. No, strip Francis. Francis should have been stripped a long fucking time ago. They're letting this fucking dude just prance around being like, I don't want to fight. I feel
like the activeness with it, like the heavyweight division. I'm not saying it. Would you consider
he's holding the division up?
Yeah, because the division's been pretty active this year, and a lot of big names.
The heavyweight division has been very active. You have a lot of good prospects in the division. I would say as of lately, the heavyweight division has been the hottest. It has been like, it's not the hottest division in UFC, but it's at the hottest point it has been in a while.
I would agree with that. I would say this. Let's just put this in perspective. Obviously, this obviously didn't happen. If Tom Aspinall won against Curtis Blades, let's just say that. Does he get that title shot?
We would probably be looking at Tom Aspinall in this mix of John Jones and Tom Aspinall.
What fight would that be?
It would be a great fight. Aspinall loses that fight, but it would be a great fight.
Oh yeah, no doubt
same
about
thing.
It.
Same thing with Blades and Jones. Blades loses that fight, but it's probably still a great fight.
Do you think it's because of the mere fact that it's just wrestling, and John Jones is like just freakish?
Jones is a better wrestler, hands down. He's a better wrestler. He's a master of distance. He's so unorthodox. He's so long. He's so big for that division. I don't think there's anyone who's beating John Jones. I think the only people you have a good chance of beating John Jones is probably Gon or Francis. I think at this point we have to count Francis out.
Yes, gotta take Francis out. I think is this
because I don't think Francis is gonna fight. Francis is already saying he's probably not gonna fight again.
My thing is this.
Okay, dude, if you're saying that,
why are you holding this up? Go to boxing. You've been trying to make this thing with Tyson Fury for the last whatever. You went to his fight and said, we're going to fight to see who the baddest motherfucker is. I don't fucking care. Fight him and get knocked out because you're not good at boxing.
Exactly. If you're saying that you're ready to fight Tyson, why aren't you ready to fight Jones?
Yeah. If you're dude,
why aren't you ready to give Stipe the trilogy?
I think it's because of this. I think obviously one, he is scared. If Stipe gets another shot, Stipe doesn't make the same mistake twice.
No, because the first time Stipe fought Francis, Stipe dog walked him.
Yes. And what happened? He just got caught. He made a mistake and just got caught. What happened with him and Daniel Cormier? Made a mistake, got caught. What was the adjustments? Fat dude. Fat dudes don't like body shots. What happened? Body shots, and that was it.
What does Francis not like? Well, actually, it's a little different for Francis now, because at first it was Francis like wrestling, and then with Gon, it was like, oh shit, this motherfucker's a wrestler now.
My thing is this. With Francis Ngannou, we were saying that the entire time. Francis doesn't know how to wrestle. He can strike for everything, but he can't wrestle. He dog walked Gon. And we're like, this dude's the complete heavyweight now. He beat the complete heavyweight. He is it. He's gonna run this division for a while.
And then he just stopped. Because it's like he's trying to pull this whole I'm the greatest heavyweight. I deserve all the money.
He's not even close to that.
You are no doubt one of the greatest knockout artists.
Oh, 100%. But you're not.
But he is not the greatest heavyweight. You can argue. So I will say the biggest heavyweight star has been Brock. The best heavyweights have been Kane and Stipe.
Would you put Daniel in there?
Daniel, Candy Cormier too. But those three are the best heavyweights.
Because they were complete.
They were complete and they defended multiple times. they didn't try. And the thing is, and again, Francis is trying to pull this whole like, I'm not going to fight for 500,000 or 600,000. It's like, okay, guess what? You probably wouldn't be getting that right now had you stayed active. Kamaru and Izzy were getting that in their first first, second, third title defense. But once they started being active and they started selling out arenas, Izzy got paid 1.5 mil in his last fight, and he lost. He lost, and he got 1.5 mil.
And I still think 1.5 mil is a robbery. I've said this with him for the longest time. We talked about this during we were playing fucking Fortnite. I wish we had this conversation. Well, still have the conversation now. I'm not mad at Izzy. I'm mad at the fighters that are scared to fight Izzy. Because Izzy's a snooze fest. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the way he fights.
He is.
But at the same time, he's doesn't have to do anything because he's just so freakishly good. Alex Pereira is the only guy that's ever taken to him when he had him hurt.
I thought Alex was going to get finished in the second after the end of that first round.
Bro, I was like this.
When I saw Alex wobbled right at the horn, I was like, oh, Izzy's coming in for the kill.
I jumped out of my... Dude, no one was home. The kids and Abuela was like not asleep yet. I jumped out of my fucking couch. I'm like, this is what I wanted. This is not like Alex Pereira. I'm like, this is Izzy's fighting. This is what I've been wanting. And then Pereira wrestles him. Fixes himself and then not wrestles him. It's a close second round, and then Izzy takes the second. Izzy dog walks him the third and fourth.
I had it 3-1 for Izzy going into that.
I had 3-1. I had first round Izzy, 2 Alex, 3-4 Izzy, and then 5 Izzy up until the knockout.
Up until that. And for those who are saying it's a short stoppage,
you're pussies.
Were you not watching the clock? There was 3 minutes left in that round when Pereira had him hurt,
and there was like a cool 45 to a minute of him whooping ass. 45 seconds. Dallas Goddard did his job.
Off.
Goddard did his job. He saved Izzy, and Izzy wants to complain. Like, to me, that's what turned me off a little bit on him. But at the same time, it's just like, I get it. You think you were...
Hey, he came back in the post-fight interview. He came back in post-fight interview going like, you know what? Now, like, the fucking guy got me. He got me, but Izzy was like, but now the hunter is the hunted. Like, he's like, we're going to run this back. We're going to run this back in Brazil. Izzy's like, you know, he's going to go ahead and get the hometown advantage.
Yeah. Dude, I would say this because when's the event in Brazil?
So Pereira for sure is not going to be ready for that event in Brazil because that's going to kick off our 2023 season of the UFC.
No.
So 100%. Actually, so yeah, 100%.
Another thing too. What's with Cumshot fucking making these dumb things with him? I love that. I love that new nickname now. I love that new nickname now. But yeah, for real,
he just wants to stay
relevant. Well, I just feel like would you consider him public enemy number 1 right now?
He is after the whole Nate Diaz fiasco. I feel like the only way he'll get in the good graces of the public eye again for MMA community is if he beats Colby Covington.
If anyone beats Colby Covington, then the good graces.
Yeah, I think it beats Colby, but you know, I feel like that's probably his only way of getting the good graces.
I am rooting for Colby in this one.
But if I'm every other middleweight right now, I am hoping Izzy loses that trilogy, because if Izzy loses the trilogy, the middleweight division's wide open.
Do you think they do what they were doing with Robert Whittaker now? Kind of not putting him on fight nights, but he's no longer main event. He's kind of going through it again. He's kind of climbing the mountain again. I feel like
if Izzy loses the trilogy and Whittaker can beat Costa, I think Whittaker goes in against Pereira, and I'm not saying Whittaker wins, but I think Whittaker has a lot better chance of beating Pereira than he does with Izzy, because Pereira doesn't have that wrestling.
Not only that, I think that gas tank's a little too low.
I think Whittaker's head movement, that low kind of like that low spread out karate stance Whittaker brings, and the head movement he brings is just so weird. Because Pereira's gone to every single fight I've seen him in the UFC so far with more of a traditional Muay Thai kickboxing stance. Mm-hmm. And I think and Whitaker is so good at that, just that karate blitz where he bounces, back leg kick in, and he just knows how to hit a 3-piece, gets out of there. He knows how to work in the wrestling. And
after the first Izzy fight, he's definitely learned to move a lot more than he normally does.
He does, and I honestly, but even then, I think a lot of the high level wrestlers have a really good chance at Piera, like Cannonier, Vittori. I think even Costa has a really good chance against Piera.
Yeah, but I just feel like with Costa, it's just gonna be that weight thing with him.
It's weird. It's like he looked perfectly fine in the Rockhold fight. He looked 100% fine. I feel like the Vittori fiasco was just
him being a douche.
A one-time slip up, him being a douche. And if I want to talk about wide open divisions, I feel like it's the same thing with welterweight. Say Usman loses that trilogy, welterweight division's wide open. Say Colby Covington beats Hamzat, I think Colby Covington beats Edwards.
For sure. I think with this,
then it's both of these divisions are getting really interesting because of how wide open they're becoming.
What did we always say? If Kamaru doesn't exist, this is Colby's division because he's so relentless in wrestling. Like like with Masvidal, he's gone. He's done. I don't think he compete with these guys now. Like even give him and Leon Edwards, I think Edwards beats him.
He definitely does.
But I think,
and Gilbert Burns have been calling for Masvidal for a while, and Masvidal is kind of like, So now I just saw today they're gonna. I think the UFC is going ahead and trying to book.
I saw something with Burns.
Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny, which I think is a really fucking good fight.
I would have to look. I don't remember Magny, but I would have to look him up.
Magny's, I would say, is one of the dark horses of that division, where it's like when he's on, he is on. But if you catch him on a bad night, you catch him on a bad night, and he looks like he's not a contender.
You know what's crazy about this whole thing? We haven't been talking about Belal Muhammad. What this dude's gonna do? I'm telling you, bro, this dude's gonna be the guy that's gonna flatline one of these champions, bro. And I would fucking lose my mind.
Dude, I really don't fucking like him. I can respect him because he's putting in the work. He really is showing he's a top dude.
But he acts like he's
he acts like he's the shit, and he's not the shit.
You're shit.
No one likes him. No one pays attention. It's like we've been talking this whole time about like welterweights, and it's like
not once till I mentioned it. We not mentioned Belal Muhammad at all. We never mentioned him at
all.
Did
we put him in that mix? We didn't put him in that mix at all.
We didn't. But what we talk about is this Belal Muhammad. He's been on like this way. He hasn't lost in 2 years now?
Something like that.
So my thing is this: we don't talk about Belal Muhammad because like the same reason I don't talk about Leon Edwards. I don't think he was a champion, and look at him, he's a fucking champion. But with Belal Muhammad, like you put him against fucking Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman's fucking flatlining this bro like nothing.
Yeah, Kamaru Usman. It's just like once Spillo gets, I feel like once Spillo really gets in front of someone,
because he has not fought a top 5 yet, has he?
No, he tried to in Leon Edwards, but then that ended with an eye poke, and he couldn't open his eye. But it's like even then, if you take away that eye poke, though, Edwards was piecing his ass up.
All right.
Like he was not able to get into that range of Edwards at all. Edwards was fucking willingly fucking tagging him.
Dude, I don't know, dude. I feel like with the divisions right now, I feel like can you run through me the divisions one more time? Because I always get them confused with women's divisions. It's bantam, flyweight.
It's flyweight, bantam.
Flyweight, bantam. I think those ones are sewed up for now. Lightweight,
bantamweight, not so much right now.
Who's champion?
Aljamain.
Who do you think beats Aljamain right now? I don't think Sean O'Malley beats
him. It's interesting. It's really interesting. Either way, Aljamain's saying he doesn't want to fight till the summer.
I could see it.
And I think they're going to give that to him because he fought 3 times last year.
I would say, kind of deserves.
Or this year, actually, he fought 3 times. So yeah, go ahead, let him take the
Piotr Yan,
TJ Dillashaw.
When did you fight Piotr Yan twice? I know he fought him in the. Did he fight him in the
either way,
he's active. He's been active.
I think he's been active. So I think they're gonna go ahead and give it to him.
Wait, do we consider Petr Yan even the first one because of the disqualification?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Oh, he did a round. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I think you are right. I think he fought like in February, summer. Yeah. I would say with that one, it's like I'm still not a believer in Sean O'Malley. Even after that fight, I think he lost.
So I went ahead and watched it.
What do you think?
O'Malley won.
You think O'Malley won?
I scored it from a very. I not only did I watch it once, I watched it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I really took my time to really look at it. 110%. The second round is Jan's.
Mm-hmm.
100% the third round is O'Malley's. The round I was really focusing on was that first round. That was the hardest round to score.
I would say the first one was hard to score too. I feel like I agree with you. Round 2, round 2, definitely Petr's. Round 3 was definitely O'Malley's. I feel like 4 was close, but I feel
there was no fourth.
Was there not a fourth? Or was it third? I'm sorry.
There's only 3 rounds.
I'm sorry.
That's the thing. It's like, so round 2 was definitely Jan. Round 3 was definitely O'Malley. And I had to really step back and look at all aspects of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see where it was very, very hard, extremely hard to score. I had to go through and I had to stop at certain moments
in that first round.
There was scrambles on both ends.
No, outstriked.
So he outstruck him, and then there were scrambles so outstruck him, and then there were scrambles on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them scrambled, but there was more leg kicks from Petr Yan.
I don't know.
So it fell into a very, very hard criteria. It was very hard to score in that first round.
I don't consider it a robbery. Like I said, it was a very close fight. I just think why is it when everyone scores takedowns, you practically win the fight, and he took him down 5 times, if I remember. And I do know a couple of them, like they were only down for maybe 30 seconds, but he had over 5 minutes of control time. That was my thing going into this. But then people were educating me well, significant strikes outbeat everything. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So I don't know. To me, that was a weird one. To me, I think my dad said it the best because Dad loves Sean O'Malley. And even, dude, Dad was like, did you watch the Sean O'Malley one? I was like, you know Sean O'Malley? He's like, yeah. He's like, the curly afro fuck. I was like, yeah, it's Sean O'Malley. Even Dad was like this. I think UFC's trying to push that kid up or something, because even Dad thought he kind of would have. I don't know.
He won it. He won the fight. And this is coming even from me, who I really look through these, and I can also tell you Sean O'Malley won that fight. I can tell you he won it. He won 2 out of the 3 rounds.
And this is the thing is I'm not gonna argue about this shit because you're gonna dog walk me through this entire thing. But at the same time, I'm still entitled to. Do I think Petr Yan won? Yes. Do I think
there's a big argument for him too? Trust me, there's a big argument that he won 2 out of the 3 rounds.
But if I'm gonna take anyone's opinion, I'll take the expert over my casual. I may still think it, but you've convinced me just a little bit that Sean won. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, there's an argument Petr won. There definitely is. 100% there's an argument that he won. I just think looking at it, and
robbery though. Stop calling it a robbery.
The hardest round is that first round.
Of course.
It's the hardest fucking round to score because it's significant strikes, scrambles on both ends,
so this is
leg kicks.
Question. If this was a 5-round fight, who are we giving
Yan
this to?
Wins.
Even after that 3rd round?
I think Yan would have came back in with a little more adjustments, a little more aggressiveness.
I think with this, I don't think I've ever said this
he would have realized that his wrestling is superior.
Okay. I don't say this a lot with the podcast and all that. I don't think I've ever said it, but I always say this. There's always that one fight with any fighter from boxing or from UFC. there's always that one fight that exposes fighters. I call them the blueprint fights.
Yeah, there always is.
I feel like that fight was the blueprint how to beat Sean O'Malley. And not to take him down, to close. You look at how Jan was fighting in that second round.
Oh, 100%. The pressure, closing the distance, making it a phone booth fight.
Yes. I feel like with Sean
O'Malley,
it
dirty. He tried to make it dirty, and that's something O'Malley couldn't really adjust to, is that dirty fighting style.
I feel like with Sean O'Malley, he's so reliant on his reach that when you look when dude, I think it was like midway of the second round when he like extended that fucking arm. And
I don't know how O'Malley survived that punch from Jan.
No, I don't know. I was like,
any other bantamweight in that division, I think goes to sleep.
Flatlined
with that punch. And even O'Malley afterwards, he literally told me, he literally, you know, he was on Logan Paul's podcast like,
bro, what did he tell you?
2 days after.
Were you talk to Sean O'Malley? And what did he say to you, dog? Bro, what did he say? He was like, there, bro, you didn't tell me, bro. I wanted to drink some Keystone Lights with him.
He was on Logan Paul's podcast like 2 days later. And they asked him about it. And even O'Malley was like, dude, I don't know how I stayed awake for that. He was straight up like, dude, that fucker hit me hard. And he was like, I don't know how I was awake for that. He's like, but I'm sure as hell glad I stayed awake for it.
Dude, I say this with, I
think so he at least had the balls to admit that motherfucker almost killed me.
That motherfucker almost killed me. But but I think with like Sean, my thing is this fight definitely showed Sean O'Malley can bang with the best, but this is also a big exposure fight to him. Like if I say him and Aljamain get it together, like they fight. I'm thinking is this, if Aljamain were to close distance and wrestle him, I think that's a easy night at the office for Aljamain.
It's going to be interesting because...
But again, Sean O'Malley has a really good fucking jab.
That, and it's also typically... we've also still haven't seen the full extent of O'Malley's ground game.
I don't think.
For all we know, he could be some fucking
menace,
savage on the ground. And I'm not gonna lie, typically, being the smaller guy grappling the bigger guy doesn't always go
hand to hand.
No, I'll say bigger. I must say lengthier. Doesn't always go your way because the dexterity and flexibility of some of these lengthier guys like O'Malley's build, sometimes they can contort their bodies in some ways that you wouldn't fucking think would be possible.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one. Now, I know Sean, I'm pretty sure they're going to give Aljamain till July. I think if we're going to do that, if we're going to have to wait almost half the year for an Aljamain O'Malley, I wouldn't be upset with an interim title with O'Malley and Marlon Vera.
Ooh.
Would not be upset with that because that would be a part 2.
I would say
there's that controversial leg injury loss and everything. There's history there. O'Malley, that's his only loss. I'm sure O'Malley would want to get that back.
Yeah,
Marlon, I'm pretty positive would want to legitimize
his win.
That win.
I think
I'd be okay with that.
Put that in March. I think that's enough time for them.
Yeah.
Put that in March.
February, March. I think that's. You can even go April.
Yeah.
You can even go April.
It's not that far away from July where it's like, oh, he fought in May. If you fight in May, that's way too short. But with Aljamain, if you're going to give him the 8 months, because this month isn't done yet, you give him the 8 months, he has time to prepare. Oh, who am I going to fight? And he actually has an even bigger legitimate camp. I think with...
Or, honestly, there's Rob Divashvili sitting at number 2 in there, and...
I think Divashvili needs one more, and it's either against Vera
He could be
O'Malley.
Someone who needs one more. Honestly, you could go... For interim, you could either go O'Malley Divashvili, you can go Divashvili Vera, you can go O'Malley Vera.
I think O'Malley beats Divashvili.
You can go either way with those 3, but then one of them got to take the backseater fight, which I think the backseater fight is going to be Dillashaw or Sandhagen.
And I think with Dillashaw, like, I don't know, especially with this injury and all that, like, I don't know. With
Your
Sandhagen,
backseater, one of those three has to fight someone lower ranked than them. That's all I'm saying. You can go interim with either of those three, but then one of them has to take the back seat and fight someone lower ranked. And I think their lower ranked opponent is going to be Dillashaw or Sandhagen.
Okay, then say whoever takes the backseat fight. Do you think with the lower ranks, like let's just say Dillashaw and Divashvili. Say Divashvili is the backseat. Does Dillashaw now have to fight one more person, or does he immediately get that shot again?
If he beats Divashvili, he'll probably get that shot again.
With Sandhagen, do you think that's the same thing? Him and Divashvili? Because Divashvili is the number 2 guy.
Yeah, if Sandhagen were to beat, because Divashvili is sitting at number 2, Sandhagen sitting at number 6. Sandhagen, really his only losses have been to the current champ and Piotr Jan, so I feel like that would probably put him at a good.
Didn't Sandhagen lose to DJ?
No.
Who the fuck did I must. Who was TJ's first fight when he came back? I thought it was against Sandhagen.
Sandhagen. Oh yeah, he also said TJ.
I said DJ by accident.
So Sandhagen's in this weird spot. Either way, one of those three names has to take the back seat and fight a lower ranked guy.
I could see it.
So one of those three names either has to fight Jan, Dillashaw, or Sandhagen.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm telling you, bro. Like, I feel like we take just to take off topic real quick. I feel like us as like a podcast, we have really grown this entire year since you've joined and stuff. I'm telling you, bro. Once we start doing like, like we actually start having more of an engageful fan base. Oh man, these UFC talks are gonna go crazy.
They probably are.
Bro, I cannot wait. But back to the UFC. So we're saying heavyweight's an interesting division if Francis isn't there.
100% isn't, because he's just fucking stalling.
He's being a bitch right now. Izzy loses, division's wide open for
Izzy loses, division's wide open.
Kamaru loses, division's wide open.
Yeah, Kamaru loses, division's wide open.
So the division we're not really talking about is like lightweight. So are you saying is Makhachev just like kind of just gonna seal that division off?
I don't know what Makhachev's gonna do yet, because I listened to the post-fight conference with Dustin Poirier coming off of that really great win over Michael Chandler. Fantastic fight. It was everything I knew it was going to be.
Fight of the year candidate.
Everything I knew it was going to be. Like there was not a doubt in my mind that there was not going to be blood in that fight.
This was going to be a barn burner. Bro.
But watching the post-fight press conference with Dustin Poirier's portion of it, he didn't really seem too keen on a belt anymore.
We did talk about that, like I think you texted me about it. He never mentioned a belt. He never mentioned any name.
More set on legacy at this point.
But wouldn't you think a legacy would be that belt to submit it? Or either to him that's not a legacy.
It's weird to say, because I feel like
do you think he goes as a legacy like this, as one of the best fighters that never held a belt?
100%. I think he'll be like a Donald Cerrone, best fighter to never hold a belt. But the thing is, he's entering the realm of records where there's a lot of fighters that probably won't beat those records.
Okay, I could see that.
Most knockdowns in lightweight, most knockouts in lightweight, most wins in lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fighters ain't gonna do that.
What happened with Izzy? Everyone's like, "Oh, he's chasing Spider."
I think Dustin has like 30 fights in the UFC.
Like, look that up right now. 30 fights?
Yeah, look up how many fights Dustin Poirier has in the UFC. I could be really short on that, but I feel like it's close to 30.
I think you're right. Dustin Poirier. He has hot sauce. Oh, I forgot he has a hot sauce.
That's pretty good hot sauce.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, this report, he didn't seem too keen on a title fight.
Yep. Well, he's over 30 fights, but he's 29-7.
So over 30 fights though.
Yeah, but
29-7 in 29-7 in the UFC.
Yeah, 29-7. 29 wins, 7 losses, obviously.
Yeah,
and 0. And 1 no
but
contest.
It's like you got to think, not a lot of people on that in that lightweight top 15
no one's close.
Have that kind of resume.
No, they're all like still in the 20, like the early 20s or the early teens.
More like the fucking early 10s.
I would say, let me look at that real quick. Yeah, I would
Justin Gaethje's only had fucking like 8 fights in the UFC.
Oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah, you can, yeah.
The only other person would probably be Tony Ferguson, and he's sitting at 15 now. So Ferguson and Dustin have the most fights in that lightweight division. But who's on top though? That's the thing.
Fucking Makhachev,
bro. You know, and halfway DeSantis has a lot of fights in the UFC too. But other than that, a lot of these other guys, they don't have that many fights in the UFC.
Yeah. Look at Darush. These guys aren't. Oh, you're right.
You know, Dustin Poirier. It's interesting where we go with him. I honestly think for him, I feel like he's just gonna shoot for. He's gonna shoot for. I think for this, he's just gonna shoot for fucking names and checks.
Conor.
Names and checks. Fuck it. That's all Conor's gonna be. Names and checks.
But I feel like it sucks. But like with Conor, he's such a. Even then, he is so relevant in the UFC, where
he will always be the biggest draw.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's the crazy thing about it. No matter how good you are in the UFC, I don't think anyone in the history of the UFC from now to the end of time will ever be as big as Conor McGregor.
No. I think as of right now, since Conor's been out, I think your biggest names in the lightweight division are Dustin, Justin, and Michael.
Michael Chandler. Those are your biggest. For a short season.
Those are your biggest names in that division.
Even with Charles and what he's been doing.
Outweigh Charles.
Oh wow. Okay.
Outweigh Charles by a milestone. Outweigh Charles.
Damn.
By a mile, they outweigh him so much.
Okay.
And I think it's just, you know, and I hate to say it, I'm gonna sound like a fucking bigot for saying it. It's because Charles does not speak English. He doesn't appeal to the American fan base. He doesn't know how to.
Okay, everyone.
He doesn't know how to put that out there.
Let's put this in perspective, everybody. I swear to God, if I get a text message, and I will get a message that you see, I say this motherfucker's a bigot for stating facts. I'm sorry, everybody. We've come so far in America that if you speak Spanglish, no one wants to hear you. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. Charles only speaks Portuguese.
Sorry.
Only speaks Portuguese.
I'm sorry, everybody. That's his native language. Fuck out of here.
Look, he's a fantastic fighter. Me being a hardcore fan, yes, I know him. I follow him. I recognize his greatness. But if I go down the street and I say, hey, you know Charles Oliveira?
Who? Someone's going to say who?
You know Dustin Poirier?
But it's like this.
Oh, his hot sauce is legit.
Oh, yeah, his hot sauce is the fucking flames, dog.
I bet you more people know Dustin, Justin, and Michael than they know Charles Islam.
Yes. Now that you put Islam,
and that's the thing.
I think
that's the thing. I bet you more people know these guys over the champ and the number one. I bet you they know these guys' names more than they know them.
100%. You got me there.
And another thing with Chandler is since he's been in the UFC, he has not had one win, boring fight.
It's all been fucking barn burners.
They have all been. He has had literally the.
Why is it that his entire reign in the UFC so far has been more exciting than
his problem fights? His problem too is that he came in. I feel like he came in a little too late.
You talk about like when he was in Bellator.
Yes, he had some bloody wars in Bellator.
But okay, so how long do you think he should have been in Bellator then?
He was the poster boy for Bellator.
Okay.
He was a Bellator from the fucking... Bellator used to fucking air on MTV.
That's how far we're going back? Damn.
That's how far we're... Bellator debuted before ridiculousness. That's how far back we're going to go.
Fuck, and Ridiculous has been out for like, what, almost 13 years now?
Bellator was going when Fantasy Factory was still airing.
Put that in perspective. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about being old. I felt
so. And Chandler was there. Chandler was in Bellator when he was 5. So look up Chandler's record real quick for me.
Michael Chandler.
Yeah, look up Michael Chandler's record. Actually, I can just click on his fucking name right here. My bad.
I think he's like 2-3.
23-8 overall record, right?
I thought you were talking about like UFC. Okay.
So 23-8 overall record, right?
Yes.
Chandler was in Bellator from when he was 5-0 all the way up until he was getting into like his 20 and whatever record.
Oh wow.
Actually, no, 3-0 because Chandler fought for the Bellator title when he was 4-0.
Fuck.
So that's how long Chandler spent in Bellator. Chandler's whole thing was he had been offered multiple times to come over to the UFC. Chandler was always declining because he had felt he didn't have the record nor the resume and reputation to hang with the UFC yet. And that's when he decided to come over when he did, because then he became that guy that was always, oh man, what would happen if this guy fought Justin Gaethje? Yeah. What would happen if he fought Dustin Poirier? He became that what if factor. Ooh, like, what if? And then we finally got that what if.
And he's been
and what happened? He had some losses, but even in those losses, you can't not say he has been the most entertaining fighter
in the
UFC. He shows up every single time and leaves it all in there every single time.
This is this is the thing. He is willing to die on the fucking octagon, but he will not die with a boring fight. He is willing to put everything out on the table. He puts his entire he puts all his chips in. Now,
only caveat. He has these aspirations to be a UFC champ before he retires. He has these aspirations. Mm-hmm. So at a certain point, you gotta go, maybe I need to take a fight or two off and not explode in the first round, but explode in the second or third.
I think he's just all gung ho.
Because if his end goal is gold, maybe he needs to just look, dude, be exciting. I get it. You wanna entertain the crowd. It's at the end of the day, this is the entertainment business.
Not to mention,
y'all the gladiators. All y'all not entertained?
Yeah,
boy, we entertained.
not to even mention, he was at the Mecca, y'all. He was at Madison Square fucking Garden
twice,
and has been phenomenal.
He has had Fight of the Year candidates at the Madison Square Garden twice.
Let that sink in. Yeah, Charles Oliveira doesn't got shit on these guys when it comes to names.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Charles Oliveira, exciting fighter. We love him.
Oh my God.
We respect his heart. We love just how respectful in general he is. Every single time he enters the octagon, he always walks over to his opponent, daps him up, hugs him, shakes all his corner's hands, walks back to his corner. Most respectful and probably nicest fighter you will ever fucking see. Mm-hmm. But it's just, in terms of that star value, it's like, unless you're like a hardcore like me and maybe a couple other my buddies, and then, of course, I started putting you on Charles Oliveira. I was like, dude, you gotta fucking pay attention to this dude. Like, this man's a killer.
Even back when we had the night shifters, bro, you were talking about him. Like,
I was like, dude, I know. I was talking about when he was like my dark horse.
You kept saying, if Charles, I remember this specifically. If I have the clip, I will try to put it in. You said this specifically. He doesn't have to go through the gauntlet. All he has to do is get that one name under his belt. And you're like, if he can fight for that title, he's going to defend it for a minute. And you called it. I forgot who he fought to get that belt, because
he fought Chandler to get the belt.
No. To like get that title shot. I forgot.
Oh, Ferguson. He dog walked Ferguson, and that was the name. That was the name he needed to bring attention to like Dana, Mick Maynard, the matchmakers, be like, okay, maybe this guy is actually a little more legit than we thought. Because he was on a streak. He was on a streak going to that Ferguson fight.
Was it?
And
was it a 8 fight?
It's like something like that, but like, so Ferguson was coming off of that Justin Gaethje loss, so it was still one of those things where it was like, Ferguson, you know, he had the loss of Justin Gaethje, but maybe Ferguson's still Ferguson. And then you see Charles Oliveira do what he did to him, and you're like, oh, maybe this dude's the real deal. And then, you know, again, you know, we landed in the Chandler Oliveira situation with the title situation.
Still an amazing
and
fight.
I know a lot of people wanted to shit on that situation. Look, fantastic fight. And don't be wrong. The real people that should have been fighting for that title that night should have been Poirier Oliveira, which we eventually did get. But it's just Poirier was like, I'd rather take the money fight, beat McGregor in a trilogy,
prove that
because I know I'm gonna beat this motherfucker in a trilogy, and then go over for the title fight.
If everything went out in a perfect way, he would have got a fat fucking check and the title in the same fucking year.
Yeah.
To me, Dustin Poirier is basically doing this. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, and I'll say, like I said, at this point, I don't think Dustin's chasing a title anymore. I think he's going for names, checks, and just bonuses. Legacy at this point. Which, dude, honestly, do you? Because he, who knows? Maybe he's just more focused on spending the holidays with his family. You know, he had extremely busy last year. He hasn't really been busy this year. This was probably his slowest year in terms of his fights.
But I feel like when you've been like, I feel like this is
he's been more of a businessman, which I think which at the end of the day, when you're getting into his latter part of his career, I think is probably the best thing he needs to do is focus on family and focus on your businesses. He has the hot sauce and he has a bourbon now.
I didn't know.
Focus on your businesses, focus on what you're doing. He also has the Good Fight Foundation.
Yep.
So honestly, dude, for him, I think it's just, rack those records, rack the legacy, rack the checks, and just focus on your businesses and your family. And
if the title's
just
there,
take those fights that just get you out of bed. If they come across and be like, hey, you want to rematch Gaethje? Fucking please.
Like, let me
entertain the crowd. Can we get Gaethje and Poirier too? They're both coming off of, Poirier's coming off of a win now. Gaethje's coming off of an L. But please, can we please get Gaethje and Poirier one more time before one of these two decide to be like, I think I'm done.
Dude, the UFC to me, I love it more than boxing because of the entertaining aspect of it, where we are getting these big fights. I just like, man, the UFC is just. It's just
always been. Oh, dude, it was a great fight this weekend.
Who's fighting?
Wonderboy, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and fucking Kevin Holland.
Yes, that's gonna be amazing,
dude. That's a striker's delight right there. Holy fuck, that's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one. Sorry. Anything? Oh, MMA, combat MMA. Do you still want to go on that rant?
No, because it's already 9:30. I have work tomorrow.
We gotta save it. You guys have missed the bullet this time.
You guys, I will only say this is MMA Mania. You guys have dodged a bullet for me right now, because I was about to fucking tear you guys a new fucking asshole for your clickbaity bullshit. Because maybe you guys actually fucking paid attention and did some fucking research, you guys would know how to title your fucking headlines a little better. But you guys don't, because you guys are, look, I read a lot of your guys' shit, and this is normally where I find a lot of. This is normally where I find out a lot of my information. But
wait, we were in the clickbait game. We said Jake Paul could beat Cain Velasquez. We got a couple.
That's true.
Hey, first of all, thank you guys for that fucking yo. Dude, what the fuck is with this podcast growing, bro? 13,000 fucking views. And I didn't even post that shit on YouTube. 13,000 fucking listens. I'm sorry.
Look, MMA Mania. Look, I'm going to be keeping an eye on you guys.
Come on, you.
because, you know, like I said, normally I get my shit money from you guys, but you guys fucking posted some fucking bullshit about Joe Rogan. If you guys actually, whoever fucking wrote this article, where are you at? Ryan Harkis, fucking bitch ass bitch. Look,
let's give him the applause.
Listen to the fucking episode next time, you fucking idiot. That's all I'm gonna fucking say about you. No, fuck it. Let me get into it. We're going longer. Fuck you guys.
Hold on. Let me can I get the right one?
Can you get the right one?
Alex, let's get some smooth music for you.
All right, so fucking Ryan Harkis on fucking MMA. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Either way, fuck you. All right, MMA Mania. I'm a little fucking buzzed. I'm a little drunk. Fuck off. Look, headline: Joe Rogan calls Alex Pereira's ability to cut massive amounts of weight sanctioned cheating. Listen, you dumb fuck. Did you listen to the fucking whole episode with Steve-O? Bet you didn't even know Steve-O was on that episode because you probably took that one little clip and ran with it like the fucking dildo stuck in your ass. Look, you should have fucking listened to the episode. He didn't say Alex Pereira's ability to cut massive weight was cheating. He was highlighting he said it for the last couple episodes with multiple guests, multiple MMA fighters, that he believes weight cutting is sanctioned cheating. Because you can have a guy, example, how he was pointing out, Alex Pereira on the off time weighs 225 pounds but cuts to 185. So he wasn't just going Alex Pereira. No, he was highlighting the fact of he said this multiple times that he doesn't like weight cutting. He doesn't believe that weight cutting should be allowed. He wants to see fighters fight at natural weights. So look, if you're gonna fucking put some shit like this, why don't you do some fucking research for once and not just fucking suck on your daddy's cock, all right? Do your fucking homework. And look, again, MMA Mania, this is nothing towards you guys. Normally I get a lot of my fucking information from you guys, but when you have fucking bullshit dickheads like this putting headlines like that, it's fucking stupid. Because maybe this guy did listen to the episode, maybe he didn't. I don't know. He's probably still a bitch. But look, he wasn't saying Alex Pereira was cheating. He was just stating the thing of his opinion, as he's done multiple times, that he believes weight cutting is sanctioned cheating.
You bitches.
So do your fucking homework, reporters. Don't just go off some fucking bullshit. We may have look, the difference between us, we made a clickbait title, but that was nothing about what we even talked about. We never once said Jake Paul beat Cain Velasquez. We just want to be a little clickbaity.
Wait. Example, if you listen to the episode, we never once said we were shitting on Jake Paul. We never once said that.
So again, Ryan Harkis suck a dick. If you listen to the fucking episode, which I highly doubt you fucking did, you would fucking know. And if you did listen to the episode, here's a question for you. What was Steve-O's #1 sponsor? Guess what? You don't know anyway, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been a fantastic Thanksgiving episode. And we are signing off there. Alex is frozen. With that saying, I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Get those mashed potatoes ready. If you guys want to watch the episode, it's on every single platform you guys can think of. We are on YouTube at the What's Your Opinions podcast. Links are all down in the description. You guys can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that great tings. You guys can follow me at Vintage City Kings. You guys can follow me on Twitch, which is the WYOP Gaming, twitch.com/WYOP Gaming. And also, get our YouTube channel, which is What's Your Opinions Gaming. I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Again, happy holidays.